Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, August 26th, 2021. Because it's Thursday, it's time for happy hour. We made it almost all the way through the week. And today for happy hour, I'm going to be trying this, something new from Skratch, or it's new to me, Skratch Labs Hyper Hydration Mix. I gotta go this way. It is intended for extreme conditions, passion fruit flavor. But the main thing about this, it's like normal kind of like hydration fluid, except it's got 1,700 milligrams of salt. That is a crazy amount of salt. It is 75% of your daily value of salt in one drink. I feel like it says for extreme conditions. Yes, it makes sense. I just feel like it should say for heavy sweaters because that's what draw my attention to it. I'm not the one that found it originally. The first person to draw my attention to it was someone on Instagram, Earl Christopher J. He posted about it on his Instagram story, and I was like, "That's for me. I gotta try that." So I've got it here now. I'm gonna give it a try. Last week we tried the Skratch. I forget which one it's called, but it's like ultra high sugar. It's got it's like a 20-ounce concoction that has 100 grams of carbs in that one. I've actually been really liking it. It's a little bit weird, but it's been working for me. This week we're trying something that hopefully again is a little bit weird, but works for me. So we'll see. But before we do that, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast. Hopefully you're having a good run out there right now. It's hot. At least it's really hot here in Chicago. It's really humid. Hopefully you're surviving. Maybe you got some Skratch Hyper as well. This is all non-spawn, by the way. I bought all the Skratch stuff myself. But hopefully you got something in your fluids that's going to help you stay sane during all this heat and all this sweating. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, if it's recovery beverage time, hopefully you've got a nice one that you can relax with. I do have, just a little bit left of my afternoon coffee, and I've got the Skratch Hyper that I'm going to be able to dive into. But before I do that, let's say hi to everyone here. KCA, Ritual Running, says, "Hey, Co and Co. Just want to wish you luck this weekend. Thank you." And says we'll be all rooting for you. I'll catch the podcast tomorrow. Cool. Hopefully you're having a good day today. Hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Jeff Elliott says, "Hello, everyone. Diamond League should be coming on now as well if you have access to it." Oh, cool. Vincent Venera says, "Hey guys, it's so hot. You all be safe and careful and stay hydrated." Good advice. Good advice. Good wishes. Jason Dahl says, "Hi everyone. Still stupid humid out. Not looking forward to tonight's run." Yeah. I mean, but you might get some rain. Yesterday, my wife went for a walk after dinner or right before dinner. We had a late dinner. The kids had early dinner, but the grown-ups had late dinner. As I was making dinner, she decided to go out for a walk. And like the moment she got outside, she texts me, it's like, "It's raining." And then she walked for a while, but then she turned around once like the storm started to get a little bit closer, saw some lightning. So hopefully you have smooth sailing. I'm going to think maybe rain because that'll take some of the humidity out, but maybe no lightning tonight for you, Jason. My mom's here. Hi, Mom. How are you? Hopefully things are going well in New Jersey. And Ray Sollers, Happy Jogger, says, "Hi, Cohen Gang. Dropping weight from 178 to 165 for a leaner, meaner, happy jogger." Wow. That's a lot. Good job. Excellent work. Let's get the cowbell out for that one. Here we go. Good. Congratulations, Ray. All right. Oh, what's going on? All the sounds are happening. What happened? Oh, you know what happened? I put them both in this. I think that accidentally got put into a playlist. So you got them both today. I think it works. I think it works. All right. Let me go find that. Make sure I only do one at a time now this time. All right. Frank says, "Was there ever a Adazero Pro 2? I can't remember the details of the rollout with the OQs for the one. Wasn't there something weird?" Yeah, I don't think there's an Adazero Pro 2 because that shoe's terrible. I feel like, I don't know why it was released the way it was. Like there was no like build up to it. There was no hype. All of a sudden it was like, "Hey, we're making this Adios Pro 2. Also, this Adazero Pro 2 is out for sale now if you guys want some." So I felt like they had a bad shoe, and it was kind of like they were trying to trick people into like buying this other quote unquote super shoe. I wore it a couple of times. It wasn't terrible, but like we were thinking like it's going to be like the Adios Pro 2. Maybe there's a training companion to it, the Adazero Pro, the Adios Pro. Maybe it'll have the companion, the Adazero Pro, but it wasn't a companion at all. It was heavy. The upper was nice, but the midsole left a lot to be desired from Sweet. I mean, it was fun, but I could see why they didn't update it. Although maybe they didn't. I just haven't seen it. All right, PG 1980 enjoying happy hour says, "How's it going?" And he's having a cold beer. Nice. And Paul the Thing One says, "Hello from UK." What's going on, Paul? Hope things are going well for you over there. David Prabhu says, "Afternoon." Albert says, "Hello." And Daniel's got the puppies again, working remote on puppy duty. Nice. Martha says she had a great 6.5 plus tempo run in the Hyperion tempo appropriately. Add a little bit more salt to the regular Skratch mix for the long runs. See, there you go. All right. On that note, perfect timing. I've got, it's supposed to be mixed with 16 ounces of water. I got some ice water in here. That's why it's cloudy. I mean, maybe I didn't do a good job of washing this cup, but I put some ice in it because it's hot. And I wanted to cool myself off a little bit. So I've got maybe a little bit less than 16 ounces in there. Just, I don't know exactly how much that vessel holds, but it's supposed to be mixed with 16 ounces. For the 16 ounces, you do get, let's see, carbs. 14 grams of carbs. So for 16 ounces, so that means like a 4 ounce gives you like 4 grams of carbs. Not a ton. You know, I wouldn't mind for something called hyper. I wouldn't mind having a little bit more, but I'm having a hard time opening it. But 16 ounces is a good number, but it's that 1,700 milligrams of salt that I'm really here for. 1,720 milligrams. There is a little bit of potassium. It doesn't tell you how much, but it's 4% of your daily value potassium. So I like to see that too, because I feel like salt isn't the only electrolyte. So there's some potassium. So here we go. Passion fruit. Passion fruit, I always I'm a little bit concerned when I see passion fruit as the flavor for something. Because when I think about passion fruit, I don't really know what, like if I were in like an exotic grocery store that had like exotic ingredients and I saw like a passion fruit, I don't think I would know it was a passion fruit. So I can't identify one either in a store, let alone I'm assuming they grow on trees. But when I think about passion fruit, what I think of is a faint berry flavor with a soap aftertaste. So I feel like it tastes kind of like lavenderish or like a potpourri kind of. There's like something floral to it that I generally don't like when I have passion fruit. So I'm trying to keep that out of mind and approach this with an open mind. Smells like sports drink. This is weird. It's kind of sweet. I definitely feel a saltiness to it. Yeah, I'm not sure how I would describe that flavor because, again, I don't know what a passion fruit tastes like, but there is a salty aftertaste. Interesting. I'm not sure if I like it, but I could easily see like at a certain point, like I could see like if this were bringing this for like an ultra marathon where it's going to be hot, having this at a drop bag location, slamming one, getting a whole bunch of salt in, and then drinking maybe something else a little bit sweeter, and keeping going. So I feel like they could have probably added a little bit more sugar into that to balance some of the salt, but it is salty, but it's not like brackish. But I'm definitely tasting salt, and it only stands out to me, I think, because when I think about sports drink and I look at this color, I think it's going to be really sweet, so definitely stands out. Interesting. Jeff Elliott says, I think I confused passion fruit and guava. Yeah, I could definitely say I agree with that. And David Collins says, passion fruit is divisive like cilantro. Is it? I thought I was the only one that was just kind of unenthusiastic about it. Terry says 1720 milligrams of salt. Do you get the high blood pressure for free or is it an extra? Yeah, I mean, when I was messaging with Earl Christopher J about it, when I saw him post about it on Instagram, and I was like, that's ramen noodle territory right there. Like that's a lot of salt. Definitely a lot of salt. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Daniel M says he's drinking black coffee today. Nice. And Greg's here. Greg says, the smooth running chats from Kofuzi makes my afternoons that much smoother. Nice. Very cool. Let's see. Someone else had said something about that I wanted to highlight. Where'd it go? I'm not sure. Where'd it go? Someone was saying that they're part of the Heavy Sweat Gang. That's what it was. It was like hashtag Heavy Sweat Gang. And I wanted to spotlight that. So I'm not sure where it went. Sorry that I missed it. Rainrunner says she ordered some of the Skratch hydration, the lemon lime, based on the suggestions. I've been enjoying the is that the 100-gram sugar one? I've been enjoying it. It's been really good on the bike because I just like leave it in the bottles and you just kind of sip on it, so it never feels like I'm drinking something super sugary, but like I'll just hit it frequently, and then I know that I'm getting a lot of sugar as I get it. So it's been kind of nice. All right. Let's see. Sean Dowland said, very much enjoyed the latest video. Love the day in the life of Co ones. Thanks. I really like them too. And I think that a lot of you guys, at least like the people that will come to the live streams, enjoy them too. They don't tend to do as well as the other videos, but they're not supposed to. And that's okay, and different videos for different kind of target audiences. But I really do enjoy making them. And I think it's just a lot of fun. So those are the ones that I have the most fun making, I think. Well, here we go. Sean is a member of the Heavy Sweat Gang. Nice. And Sean has a picture of a painting with, I guess, a milkmaid and a cow. Interesting. All right. Let's see. Someone else to tell me about the run today. Where'd it go here? Let's see. Here's one. New Betcher said, finally took the Terex Speed Ultras out on some trails. Great shoe. Nice. I don't know. I think I need to try out some of those Terex shoes. I've never tried an Adidas trail shoe before. The designs have been spectacular the last couple of years. Like that black and white. It's like kind of zebra. It's kind of glitch. I just love it. And like with the pops of like that neon yellow. It's probably green because I think it's yellow. But like it just looks amazing. And the Adidas athletes have been showing up. They've been doing well in the shoes. And so I feel like the shoes must be legit. And so I think I need to test some out. But I think of all the brands, I've had the least contact with Adidas. That's okay. Well, no, that's not true. They've been sending me some stuff. So, but I don't hear as much from Adidas. All right. Yeah. Ray says he thinks that Emily is considering the Adidas Adizero Pro 2, I believe, for Chicago. No, I think she's thinking about the Adios Pro. So it's confusing. Maybe that's where it is, or maybe I'm confused. I don't think I've seen her run in the Adizero Pro, but I've seen her run in the Adios Pro 2. I think that's the one she's thinking about. I feel like I'm drinking like a tea or some sort of tincture when I'm drinking this. It doesn't feel like a sports drink or like a watered down juice or anything like that. It feels more like a concoction of some sort. Louis says his New Balance 1080s version 10s. I think he was looking between the. Were you the one looking between the version 10s and the Triumph 18s? But he's got some version 10s in the mail. Now just wait till one of the friends can go and get them. Can't wait to get the new shoes. That's a good one. I enjoyed that one a lot. All right. David Callan wants to know, is anyone watching the UTMB? 56-kilometer OCC was this morning. Yeah. I mean, I haven't been watching it, but I follow. I think most of my sports now these days, I just follow on Twitter. I see the tweets. That's kind of how I'm consuming sports. It's a poor substitute for watching the sport, but sometimes I just never manage to get the time to sit down and watch it. So it's good. It's good for me, I think, overall. Danny running with the scissors had a good run today. Got a 6-mile tempo in, 10 total. Nice. I love to hear that. I love when I hear people say like I did 6 tempo miles and then there's a bigger total number because that means you warmed up, you did the tempo run and you cooled down, or you had like a block of work in a bigger run. I love to hear that. It did it in the Razor XS early in the morning. I've been hearing some good things about the XS. Who did I see that was really enjoying it? Was it Doctors of Running? I'm trying to think. I've been seeing a lot of pictures about it lately. Ines Dunbar here says hi, Kofuzi and everybody. And David Callan says the UTMB is live on. Is it live on YouTube? Super cool. I'm enjoying that these long events are having live coverage, and I enjoy like the efforts that like the commentators have to go through to be able to talk about a race that's over a day long. It's amazing. All right, where'd it go? Oh, Jeff Elliott's the one that asked about the Triumphs in the 1080s. Okay, cool. And he ended up going. He didn't want to do the hint of stability in the Triumph, so he went with the Topo Zephyr. Oh, you'll have to let me know how that goes. All right. This was a terrible idea. It says, what's the best super shoe for a wide foot? I think the best one, like I don't have a wide foot, so I can't say for sure. But I did pick Jarrett's brain over at Believe in the Run a little bit. And I do think that he likes the Hyperion Elite 2. I think he also likes, he's been liking a lot of New Balance shoes lately, I think. But New Balance makes a lot of wide shoes. But I think he's running in the RC Elite 2. I think he's been enjoying that one. He did do the Falmouth Road Race in the Metaspeed Sky. I don't know if he sized up to do that or not, though. So I'm not sure. I think those are the ones that I've heard him talk about, if I recall correctly. But he's a great person to ask. He's changed his Instagram handle. It used to be Zefarret, like Zefarrett, I think. But now it's Jarrett and his last name on Instagram. But I'll find a link for you and I'll put it in the description after we're done here today. All right. Let's see. There was one other one here that I wanted to look at. You know what? I don't know where it went. But I see a lot of great chat here that I want to talk about. All right. Jeff Elliott says 100 grams an hour is great on the bike. I feel like that's a good number too. That is something that I enjoy about the bike, is that like it's a little bit easier to manage nutrition. I think you have a couple more options because it's not as much of a jostling experience as running can be. So that's I think that's pretty cool about it. And let's see. People are telling me about what they're drinking today. I love it. Corey Allen says, enjoying a Waterloo blueberry, sparkling water, but can't taste the blueberry. COVID loss of smell and taste. Oh, really? Oh, man. Do you still, I guess you still feel the bubbles, though. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, hopefully all that comes back quickly. And Tribo Try wants to know, when are you and Jamie going to collaborate again? I think we got to find a project. I have some ideas. I was talking about yesterday. Flores was here. And he was like, when are you going to come out to hit some of the mountains in his area? But I mentioned that I've been thinking about trying to figure out like some sort of weekend where I can try where it's colder so I can do some like fall gear. I'm like, maybe I can convince Jamie. I think Jamie likes camping. So like maybe I can convince Jamie to do the logistics for the planning of the camping part. And then we can do some sort of collab antics in the mountains. That's kind of what I'm thinking. All right. There was another one. Oh, well, here's the question that came. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Dan M. This is the one I was looking for. It says, aren't you a Malcolm Gladwell fan? Which of his books are good for running too? I would say if you enjoy Malcolm Gladwell, like they're all good because like he's just a great storyteller. And I think some of his more recent works, he seems to be writing, or at least doing the audiobook portion of it. He narrates his own audiobooks with the understanding that like the written word is different from the listened word, right? And so like just like kind of like you wouldn't write dialogue for like a sitcom or a movie the same way you would write dialogue, like, or the way you would write prose like in a novel. And so he's getting very good at, he's a masterful writer, so he's very good at that. But even his earlier stuff was really good to listen to while running, and I think all of it I've listened to while running. I think I saw in the chat someone already mentioned Tipping Point, and then I'm trying to think. Did I listen to his one about the David and Goliath one? That was a good one too, and the way he gets very animated when he tells that story. So like I'm Outliers, not Tipping Point. Well, yeah. I'm trying to think of the names of his books. It's been a while since I've listened to him. So like, yeah, that stuff is good. He also does have, if you want to like just look, for some free stuff, there is Revisionist History, which is really good. And I listened to the first season. I didn't listen to any of the second season, but that's been also very good as well. So like really good to listen to. Jeff Light says the Sandra Bland stuff. Yeah, it was like the one about communicating with strangers kind of thing, talking to strangers. That was a very good book. I listened to that a lot last year. And like visually in my mind, like what happens with a lot of these books is like a certain place will resonate if I was on the same kind of terrain repeatedly with the same book. And that book resonates with me in Osterdock, Iowa. very small town, really, really small town. Most of it's not even on Google Street View. But yeah, because I was running in that area a lot when I was listening to that one. But that's a good one. Yeah. So Daniel says, okay, 2 votes for outliers and a possible DQ for talking to strangers from Jess. Nice. All right. All right. Runner Dre's having some afternoon coffee as usual. Nice. I love it. And Robert Archuleta says, in my next life, I want your hair. You know what I've been thinking about? Do you guys follow Bodega Cat's account on Instagram? In my next life, I want to come back as a Bodega Cat. That just looks like a very nice, relaxing lifestyle. All right. Greg says, ever thought of adding drone shots for your Chicago videos? I have, but it's a lot of headache. There's technological headaches with like just carrying the drone, getting it up in the air takes time. It's disruptive from my running. And so what I don't like to do is stage shots for my running anymore. Like that's why like I don't have a lot of set shots anymore. I used to do that a lot in the beginning where I would pause the watch, set up a camera like on the ground, run back, run by it, maybe run back the other way too, pick it up, resume the watch, and then keep working my workout. And after a while, I'm just like, I don't like doing that anymore. The shots are nice. I like them. And I might still do them if I'm going somewhere else. I'm having more of like a run tourism kind of run. But for my workouts, it was just really disruptive. And so like including the drone is hard because it's really disruptive because you got to get it out, get the GPS lock, get it up in the air. And then like, you don't want to, for all that work, you don't want to fly for just like a minute. So you're like, well, this battery lasts 15 to 20 minutes. So I'll fly till the battery dies. So that's like a 25-minute stop. And then you're running some more. Add into that, there are FAA considerations. So I'm not a licensed drone pilot. And if I'm using it for commercial use, that could be a problem, or it is a problem. So I would probably need to get registered and licensed for commercial use of the FAA drone. And then technically along the lakefront, that's all Chicago Park District property and no photography at all. Like even, I think the way that the rules are written, selfies would technically be in violation of the rules, but photography isn't allowed along the lakefront. From an airspace perspective, I think that airspace is fine. But we are in a flight path. So like there will be like jet planes overhead. They're in a different flight zone than commercial drones can tend to fly, but like it just gets worrisome. The other thing is that there's traffic helicopters that fly all over the place around here. And like, I don't want to have to call whatever. I don't want to have to call like 6 or 7 different potential helipads or whatever. I'm not even sure if it works or if it's become more streamlined since the last time I looked at it a couple of years ago to notify like traffic copters that I'm flying. And there's also other FAA rules that are like technically you're not supposed to fly above people in case the drone like falls out of the sky. And so like, yes, I know there's a lot of people that don't pay attention to all of those rules, but those are rules. I like rules. So like that, it's just a lot. It's a lot. And for the most part, 19 out of the 20 things that I might want to get out of a drone, I can get out of my 360 camera. So that's like the very, very long answer for adding drones to my shots. Now, one things that I've been wishing is like, that my nephews would like take it, or nieces would take a more interest in like videography and drones and stuff, and I could convince them to come out and like, hey, meet me at like 8:30 in the morning on the top of this hill and then have the drone up in the air. Like I wish I could do that, but none of them have really seemed to be all that interested in what I do, so I don't think they'd want to participate. Goodness, this thing does taste weird. This hydration mix, the extra salty, the Skratch Hyper, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. But I wonder, like, I'll certainly use it. I'll probably use it this weekend. But it'll be interesting to see how it tastes like when I'm super sweaty. I bet you it'll be real good. So, all right. David Cowan says, do we talk about this already? He has a Terex Agravic Tech Pro for winter. Great shoe. I do love me a good winter shoe. Yeah. Corey Allen says, keep Kepi electrolytes from Amazon is a new favorite. No sugar or fructose. Lots of potassium, magnesium, sodium, calcium, and trace minerals. Well, and see, I do like a good electrolyte drink mix for not during the run, but like throughout the day. Kepi. I'll have to take a look at that. Oh, by the way, we've been talking about Athletic Brewing. So I reached out to Athletic Brewing in their DMs, and I asked them if they would be interested in sending something. And they were like, talk to this dude. And they gave me an email address. So I don't know if that's what they just always do, and that's their way of like turfing me. But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully that I'll be able to get some. I don't know if we'll be able to get it in by next week. But hopefully we'll be able to get some in soon. And if not, if it doesn't go anywhere, or it takes too long, I'll just buy some. That's no problem. Either way. All right. Let's see. What else we got here? All right, I'm going to scroll down because I think I'm way behind you in the chat. Speaking of the Adios Pro 2, Chris Dyke just took him out for a workout. It's in serious consideration for a half marathon. I think it's a great half marathon shoe. I think some people might find it a little bit like unusual for a full marathon. I love it I haven't raced a marathon in the Adios Pro or the Adios Pro 2, but I think it'd be definitely a shoe that I would enjoy. But I could see some people might be like, I don't know. But for a half marathon, I feel like a lot of people can really enjoy it. Daniel M says, talking about books, got Murakami's The Wind Up Bird Chronicles, which I think is very different than his running memoir. I did read his running memoir, or I listened to it. I enjoyed it. He does some triathlons in his memoir, but he must obviously be a decent swimmer, because he doesn't mention how like frustratingly hard swimming is at all. Not that I remember anyway. But the Wind Up Bird Chronicles, I've at some points been like, oh, maybe I should read some of other Murakami's works, but I've never been like super. No one has ever like, oh yeah, if you liked his voice in his memoir, you'll certainly. No one's ever been like, yeah, if you like that, you'll like this. So I don't know. I've never gotten to any of his other stuff. All right. Albert Long says, I had some Flamin' Hot Doritos last night. Tastes exactly the same as Flamin' Hot Cheetos. LOL. Are they the same company? Is Doritos the same as Cheetos? Who makes those? So, because maybe it is. Maybe it's the exact same powder. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, what do you think is in that makes it the Flamin' Hot? I'm sure. I mean, there's got to be some real Clark W. Griswolds working on that to make it the Flamin' Hot. Those are fun. Those are fun flavors. I will never pick it myself. I'm a Cool Ranch Doritos guy, but the Flamin' Hot flavors are so popular right now, right? I don't know. Tracy Smith says, hot weekend coming up. Are you going to adjust your run pace, or will you just be celebrating finishing the swim? I will definitely celebrate finishing the swim if I can finish it. I feel confident. I feel good that I can do it. It just might take me a while, but I'm confident that I'll be able to get there. And I will definitely be adjusting the run pace. So I was looking at like my start time. The first wave goes off at 6. I don't think that I'll be going until closer to 7, like 6:52, I think is when I go off. But it's supposed to be really hot and humid on Sunday here. And so tomorrow's video is actually going to be about talking about some stuff, talking about nutrition and some of the race plan. There isn't a ton of race plan because I just haven't done this before. And so I'm just along for the ride and just going to try to have a good time. Kind of like at Falmouth, like I haven't seen that course before. Yeah, I mean, and I've never run 7 miles as a race, but I kind of had an idea of what to expect, but so this, I kind of have an idea what to expect, but I'm not going to put too much thought into it other than, like make sure I have enough nutrition on the course. And so, yeah, but I will be, I'm just going to run a lot on feel. I'm not really going to pay much attention to pace. I mean, I'll be looking at it, but I'm not going to be concerned if the pace is way slow. I'll probably be a little bit concerned if the pace is way fast, because I just don't want to just fall apart out there. Yeah. So it'll be a lot of hooping and hollering, I think, from me, because if I get past the swim, I'll be in a pretty good mood. All right. Let's see here. We got Ray coming in with the super chat. Thanks so much, Ray. He says, if I train at 10-minute pace average, is 9-minute pace reasonable for the half marathon? Let me try to think. Let me think of where like my easy pace is. My easy pace is usually like in the low 9s, and my half marathon pace. My half marathon pace changes depending on the level of fitness, and I think that's relatively true for most people. And so like my half marathon pace is somewhere. Depending on how specifically I've trained for that distance, somewhere between like 650 and 640. And so what's that? Two and a half minutes faster than the easy pace. So, I don't know that you can directly transport it, but I think that'd be reasonable to try for a half marathon. But I think I would need more information than that, right? I think that the best way to kind of figure it out is to look at what your weekly mileage is. Let me know what your weekly mileage is. And if you've done a 5K time trial or any kind of race somewhat recently, or time trial recently, or any other like bigger workouts, that I think would be more instructive. So like if your 5K time, if you're running, say like 9-minute per mile for your 5K, then it's not going to be suitable for your half marathon. But I think that there's ways that you can kind of look at charts and tables and see like if the 5K is this, kind of what does that translate to for half marathon. So that's kind of where I would go for it. And I think that's probably a better indicator. The other really good indicator is if you've done any workouts or tempo runs where you're trying to run like at a threshold pace, something that's like comfortably hard, a pace you think you can hold for, about 40 minutes to an hour, like that kind of effort, which is a substantial effort. When people say comfortably hard, I'm like, no, hard, but survivable is kind of how I look at it. That is your half marathon pace should be a little bit slower than that, because that threshold pace is usually between most people's half marathon and 10K race paces. So that's how I look at it. All right. Mika says, it's been autumn weather for a while in Finland. Wool hat and gloves time was 6 degrees Celsius this morning, only 10 degrees Celsius during the day. Well, maybe I'll have to go to Finland to do some of this fall weather, winter gear testing. I don't know if it's even possible to travel to Finland, but that's kind of like, I think probably I'll probably end up going somewhere in like Minnesota. See, maybe if my running buddy wants to go for a weekend up there. His parents have his mom has a lake house up in northern Wisconsin. So maybe that's something we could do. But I'm looking for colder weather, just like maybe not that cold, but I'm looking for cooler weather. All right, Dan says, so 10 minutes comes out to 2 hours, 10 minutes. 9-minute pace comes out to 2 hours, depends on the runner, but it could be done. 1 minute different in pace seems like a lot. I think, for a half marathon, I'm not sure. I think it's doable. But I think some other workouts or time trials would be the most like instructive if you've done anything like that. And if you don't know, then I would say, that's probably a good place to start. See how you're feeling in the race. Yeah, if there's like a 2-hour, 5-minute pace group, I'd probably start with them. See how you feel at the 6 mile mark or about halfway, adjust up or adjust down. So I think that's probably a good way to do it. Terry wants to know a question that I cannot answer. Should I sign up for the Paris Marathon next spring, or is it a bad idea with the pandemic? I have no idea. Who knows what's going to happen? I feel like we'll know a lot in the next month. I think that these world major marathons are going to be a big indicator. I think that a lot of places are very concerned about the possibility of big gatherings being canceled, even in some of the more vaccine reluctant states or anti-vaccine states. In the United States, the football stadiums are all requiring, not all, many are requiring vaccinations or proof of a negative test before entering. And these are places where like it's like 30% vaccination, 40% vaccination. So like they're realizing that like this could be a serious monetary problem if they don't get the situation under control. So like, who knows? Maybe that will be enough to kind of get things under control. Maybe by then on the world stage, vaccines will be distributed enough that it can happen. But I don't know. Like, we're seeing stuff with school. You can have that. Do you want me to open it? With schools and stuff would also be interesting. So I don't know. I suppose you could wait, but I mean, I would also look at like, what are the cancellation policies? If they let you defer to another year and you would probably want to run the next year. If you think you might want to run the next year anyway, then you could do that and just sign up and you'll either get it this year or the next. But if you're like, I'm not sure what I'd want to do in the following year, then I'd say maybe wait. All right. Jeff Light says, I will say that I've been seeing some positive anecdotal things about vaccine hesitant, quote unquote, people in the US coming around, both in combos with people I know in person and online. I hope that's definitely happening. I would love to see that happening. Every time so like the Pfizer was FDA approved in the US, and then following that, the United States military has required it for all the troops, and many states and even more companies, private corporations, are requiring it for employees, or lots of additional mandates. Anytime something new happens vaccine wise, that one video that I made about vaccines gets a lot of angry people on it. And so like, it's been very tiring lately. But if that all means that people are searching and looking to see like, how bad is it, to take it, hopefully that they'll find some good information on the internet rather than the other stuff that they've been getting fed on Facebook. So I hope so. I certainly hope, for the love of goodness, I hope so. Inna says, maybe you should add Finland to the Kofuzi World Tour, Mike. We had a holiday in Helsinki. Really nice place to be. I think I would really enjoy that part of the world. I don't know. It's like, I don't know how to do a world tour. I don't know how that would work. I have a feeling it'd be lots of really short trips, and just flying back and forth a lot, just because I think, maybe it's more economical or efficient to just do one really long trip with lots of little hops here and there. But from like a pragmatic, like, life standpoint, I don't know how useful or easy it will be for me to leave like for 3-4 weeks, So I don't know. I think that sounds delightful, but I don't know if we'll be able to do it. We'll see. All right. Mika says, only 12K racing in Ukala relay this year. Is that, did I say it right? Usually about only 12,000 people for the relay, and there's usually 17 to 20,000 people. It was really far north this year, though, in the Arctic Circle. Oh, that sounds fun. Did you guys see Seth's picture? He posted, he was on some sort of mountaintop, getting his cameras ready to film UTMB. And he's like buttoned up, like all you could see is his face, and it's really cold. And I'm like, that's the Seth I love. I love it when he I love it when he tortures himself. Not that he's torturing himself, but he's like, it's chilly up here. I think it's awesome. All right. Tracy says, I'm running a half this weekend. Awesome. She says it's going to be awful. I don't know how much I should plan to adjust for heat. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's really hard. I would say what I did at Falmouth was I went out. I knew so it was a 7-mile race. And so I'm thinking run threshold effort. Maybe a little bit easier than that because the first 5K was a little bit hilly. So I was like, just run, just run, but don't go crazy. In the beginning is how I did it, and settle in and figure out what the heat situation is. And then what I also did was, I don't normally stop at every aid station or get something from every aid station. But what I did at every aid station was, once I realized how hot it really was I would get the water and just pour the water on myself. And anytime anyone had a hose or kids had their super soakers or their water squirters out, I got doused. So like, there's ways you can manage the heat and try to run faster. But I would also say, like, be kind to yourself and realize that people don't run their PRs for like half marathons when it's super, super hot out. And so like, go out and enjoy the run, have a great race, run hard, but like, you don't have to be disappointed if you don't PR. Maybe you will though, and that would be awesome. But stay cool. Just dump the water on yourself. That's what I would do. All right. Let's see. Yeah, Jeff Elliott says, I also dump water over my head at every aid station. See, there you go. James Aylward said, do chill vests help pre-race in hot conditions? I think that they do. I thought I saw a lot of American marathoners with the chill vests on before the race in the Olympics. Maybe I'm mistaken. And I thought I saw some athletes trying to wear them in the for the track events too. But maybe I'm mistaken on that. But it's definitely something that has been developed. I think the first year that they started really doing that was in Greece for the Athens Olympics, right? They had those chill vests on to keep the core temperature cold. But like Molly Seidel, ripped the bag of ice open and just poured it on herself during her race. And Galen had his ice hat. He just put ice underneath his hat and wore it, and it looked total like dad move when he had it on. And I was like, nobody told him about bucket hats apparently. So like people are figuring out that like having the ice on your person, I think people like, not that like road runners or track runners did not realize that like ice cools you down, but like, some of the like trail runners like put such an emphasis on like the ice neckerchief thing, and then like Walmsley had like his hydration belt that created like a pocket so he could just dump ice down in his shirt. So there's things like that people are doing that I think people are recognizing, like how much some ice can really keep the body cool and help you to keep going on a hot day. So yeah. All right. Thomas Villa says, sorry if I missed this. Are you taking nutrition on your try? Yeah, I still have to kind of figure out what the plan is, but that'll be tomorrow's video. I'll talk about it a little bit more specifically. I'm thinking like, maybe have some sort of gel to eat right after the swim, and then have that 100-gram sugar drink on the bike, and then just like use one bottle, like mentally thinking to replenish what I lost during the swim, and the other bottle to keep me going during the bike ride, and then have something in the other transition when I put my running shoes on, just stuff a whole bunch of gels on my person kind of thing, and maybe even slam like a water bottle full of this salty stuff, to kind of load up on some salts for the run. So that's kind of where I'm at, but I don't know. It's my first triathlon. I'm going to mess up a lot of things. Nutrition is probably one of those, but I will be bringing a lot of stuff because I'm going to be out there, I think, for 3.5 hours to be really, I think realistic. Hopefully I'm not out there for 4, but I think I'll be out there for 3.5 hours. That's going to be a long time on a hot day like we're going to have. Martha says, when she did her first half marathon, a friend suggested drinking Gatorade and dumping water on her head. And her friend once made the mistake of doing the reverse. That's got to be so gross. I'm like, I would be like, I need 3 more things of water now to wash some of this off. This is so sticky, so sticky. Frank says there's a 2018 Pikes Peak Marathon when Sage jumped pickle juice on it. Is there really? Is there footage of that? I don't think I've ever seen that. That's funny. Ooh, New Betcher says you could tape gels to the top tube by the part that rips off of the gel, so you have them on the ride. On the bike is the best place to take on calories. See, I don't know. I feel like that would be. I was thinking I'd just put them in my bike shirt. I would have them like by the bike, stuff them in the back, and then eat a couple of gels along the way. But I'm thinking on the bike, I'd prefer to just drink the calories, and while running, I'd want to eat them. Maybe I have it back. Yeah, I don't think I have it backwards because I don't like to drink fluids a lot. I don't want to bring fluids with me. I'll take whatever's on the course, I think. So I think maybe I'll bring a gel. I think I'm just going to eat a gel before I hop on the bike. Something with caffeine in it. Maybe. We'll see. Jason says just go old school triathlete and just take the bars out of the wrappers and stick them directly to the bike frame. I'll have like melted chocolate all over the side of the bike. I'll take it in for a tune-up afterwards. I'm like, what did you do here? There's candy all over this bike. Oh my goodness. Terry says the temperatures in the U.S. are nuts. I was listening to the test match cricket and dozing this afternoon under a blanket. A nap sounds nice. I could go for a nap. And Daniel M says, what's the shortest distance at which you'll take nutrition? A half or a 10K? I did bring a gel with me for the Falmouth Road Race, which was 7 miles. But I put it in the shorts I was wearing had one big back pocket. And I put them in my back pocket before I got on the bus. And then I took a nap and I fell asleep with it back in there. And when I went to go reach for it later, fortunately, this was before the race. But when I go back to go reach for it, it was just a sticky, gooey mess in my back pocket. And I was like, this is gross because it had blown open. So I didn't, but instead what I did was I ate a banana right before the race. It was disgusting, but I ate it and I did well. So now I'm afraid I have it. Now I have a superstition. I have to eat a disgusting banana before a race. And then I made sure I took more Gatorade than I normally would to replenish some sugars. But I think, when you see like a 10,000 meter race, they always have like a water table out there. And very rarely do people do it unless it's super hot. Like at Doha, they did it for the Diamond League. And I think some people did take from the water table in Tokyo, if I'm not mistaken. But 10K is about where I'm thinking maybe I'll bring it. And if I want it, I can have it. Some people say that by the time you eat one, halfway through, it won't even hit your system until you're done. But I don't think that that's necessarily true. I feel like when my heartbeat's racing and my stomach's empty and I'm running hard, whatever I put into my system is boom, instantly in my system. That's what I feel like. David says, Jen and Lionel pounded back liquid starch on the bike so they didn't have to feed on the run. I suppose that's a good idea because then if I can get enough sugars in me for a 10K run at the end, I wouldn't need to, and I could just drink Gatorade. So maybe that's what I'll do. Because but 100 grams of sugar, I don't know. I could squeeze in 100 grams of sugar on the bike. Maybe I need to do that and eat some too. But I don't know. I feel like that I'm in dangerous territory because I have not tested how it feels like to have 120 grams of sugar in an hour. So yeah. All right. Melly reminds, don't drop the wrappers on a try. You get a penalty for littering. I thought you get disqualified if you litter. I was reading. Oh, by the way, I was reading through the athlete guide today, and there were no listening devices at all, which I usually have headphones in during a marathon. And no GoPros. There were no GoPros. You will be disqualified if you can risk a 3-minute time penalty. If it's flagrant, you can risk confiscation of your device for the duration of the event, or even a DQ. So I was like, oh boy. And they're like, if you want to use a GoPro, you have to get permission from the head official 5 days prior to the race. Now we're 3 days out, but I sent an email today. Hopefully I'll get permission to use it. Because then if I don't, then it's well, now they know to look for me to see if I have a GoPro with me. So we'll see how that goes. Noah B says, hey, Coach, curious. I know you're a polar guy, but what are your thoughts on the Garmin ecosystem? I know the look hasn't changed much over the years. Curious what you dislike about it. I have not given Garmin enough of a fair shake. I definitely need to review another Garmin. I'm not sure which one I'll probably take a look at. I've been debating between the 745, 945, or an old Phoenix. I don't care that the look hasn't changed much over the years. It's a utilitarian device for me. As long as I could see the numbers, I'm fine. I don't want it to be a smartwatch. I don't want it to be an Apple Watch competitor. It's generally how I feel about it. The things that I don't love about it is, and I just need to review it. It's not huge, but the body battery thing confuses me. I don't really like it or get it. And I don't think I'm getting the same recovery metrics. I like the recovery metrics from Garmin. This week I've been running with the Wahoo Element Rival because I want to use it for the triathlon. And I just want to make sure I'm super, super familiar with what all the buttons do, without looking at it and when I'm tired and in distress. But at night, it doesn't give me any real recovery metrics. And I'm that's maybe good, but I wish I had that data. So like for me, like that's what I like. I also like to look at my data from like a training perspective. I like the way I can look at it in Polar Flow better than like what I can look at it in Garmin. Maybe that's just a lot of preferences, but I just like the way the data looks and it makes more sense to me over there. So it's just, I think a lot of it is preference. Technologically speaking, I think they both, a lot of the brands all do a good job, but it's like figure out what's the best fit for you. But that being said, I definitely will take a look. You know, I have a lot of stuff that I've been kind of putting off because I've like triathlon focused right now. But like once we get into like full on marathon training, which will be next week, depending on how wrecked I am after Sunday, a lot of that stuff I'll be taking a look at. I have a lot of fun stuff coming up. Different sensors, new technologies, weird stuff, zany stuff, and stuff that's a little bit more useful too. So like, stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. All right. Oh, Mika, we're talking about head torches the other day. He's got a head torch update. Picked up the Petzl Arctic Core on the Believe in the Run recommendation, and it's awesome. 450 lumens for 2 hours on a chargeable light case. Pretty cheap too. There you go. I like those numbers. 450 lumens. I'm trying to think. What are the ones? Some of the ones that I have. The ones that you get on Amazon are like ludicrous bright, and they're super cheap. I'm not sure how that works out. And they last long enough for anything that I want to do at night. And I don't want to be out long at night. So, yeah. Well, very cool. I'll have to take a look at that one. Terry says, any Garmin with mapping is worth it. I love the 6X Pro. Yeah, see, that's where I'm like, Garmin's got the maps because it's Garmin. And so I'm like, I do, maybe, you know what? Maybe I could just make a big weekend out of it. Maybe I can get this trip sponsored, like this weekend trip sponsored. Like get a watch, get some clothes, figure out a way to do like a weekend trip in mountains, get really, really lost and have fun running trails. I'll have to see if I can figure it out. All right. Frank says, is the polar recovery metric based on HR variability? It is to an extent. So it's one of the things it looks at. It looks at your heart rate variability, your beat to beat variability, which I'm not really, your beat to beat interval, which is a little bit slightly different, as well as your respiration rate and your resting heart rate. So it looks at a couple of different things. And there's also a more specific recovery tool, which looks more specifically at heart rate variability. And you need I think the Polar H9 does it. I'm sure the Polar H10 does it. And it's on the Vantage V2, and it takes your 2 different heart rate variability measures, one when you're lying down, and then it asks you to stand up. And then it measures your heart rate variability, I think, to change in blood flow. Something about that is what it measures to also give you a more precise, not sleep-based recovery metric, but like overall, like how are you today kind of thing. So I like both of those. I don't use that other test nearly as much because it just seems to take a long time. It takes like a minute, which it feels like it takes forever. But those are some of the ones that polar recovery metrics are doing. Another thing that I would love to get more into is heart rate variability and potentially using that as a training tool as well. But I think that's a little bit further out there. And like, I already subscribe to a lot of weird training ideas. I'm like, I don't know how many more I can handle before people start calling me a quack. But it's something that intrigues me a little bit. All right. Morgan Bainham says, where do you see triathlon route taking you? One and done or more after? Talk to me on Monday, I guess. We'll see. I mean, I've been enjoying the triathlon training, especially for the summertime, where it's like not as fun to run as much in like the middle of summer heat. Swimming and being on the bike, I really do enjoy, as frustrating as both of those sports can be in their own different ways. But I like the mix. It's just very time consuming. So like, well, I don't know. I think that like, maybe it's like, maybe I'll treat it like ultra marathons where maybe I'll do like one a year. Maybe I'll do a triathlon a year. Maybe I'll do an ultra a year. Maybe like a couple marathons a year, and only really have like 1 or 2 A races, but like just have fun and go after it in some of these others, so that's kind of like where I don't know if maybe I'll do one a year. Maybe I will never do another one. Hopefully I like it enough to do more than one, like not that I'm like, I really want to, do more triathlon content or anything like that. But I'm like, I mean, I signed up for this for a reason, because I thought it'd be fun, and it'd be really disappointing if something that I worked this hard for, maybe I didn't work elegantly for it, but I worked hard for it. It'd be disappointing if I did all this work and it ended up not being enjoyable, So like, I'm rooting for triathlon. So, all right, let's do one more, and then I gotta go. I gotta get some groceries, gotta do some laundry, and then we've got an ice cream social at the school today. The kids will get to go and kind of meet their teachers today. So we got like some back to school stuff we got to do. All right. Frank says about the heart rate variability and the recovering. Won't my bad wrist heart rate screw it up? It won't, because for whatever, like when I'm at rest, these heart rate sensors work, I think, just as well as a chest strap for rest, sleeping, even very, very low activity. So usually like the first like 10, maybe 20 minutes of an activity when I'm warming up, the heart rate is pretty good from the wrist for me. It's just when I start moving around a lot, I think that like there's jostling that happens. And since these are optical and light gets in there when this thing moves around, I think that's what's causing the problem. So when I'm sleeping, it's not a problem, I think. So, all right. Let's see. Let's do one more. Oh, Jeff Light says Collins Cup is this weekend. If you can figure out a way to watch it, I think that will not only triathlon, because I would watch more triathlon if it was available. I think I would want to watch. I do really want to go watch a pro, like spectate pros at a triathlon too, because I feel like it's not like a point-to-point marathon is hard to spectate. But I feel like a triathlon, there's transitions it's somewhat central. It's like a clover leaf, I feel like a lot of times, where it's like more central. And so I like that idea. So it might be easier to enjoy spectating as well. But like both triathlon and track and road running and ultra trail running, we need to figure out better ways to watch them as spectators. Like a theme for this year has been like, make it easier for spectators. These are interesting sports. Even if you're not participating in the sport, they're interesting sports, but we need to make sure that it's easy for people to watch it if we want people to watch it. So hopefully I'll be able to, I don't know, I'll probably just follow along on Twitter and then see whatever Lucy Charles Barkley puts out in terms of her content later on. Realistically speaking, that's probably going to be where I'm at. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today. Tomorrow, I'll tell you a little bit more in the video about some of my nutrition and options. I'll have to mull over a lot of the good stuff that you guys talked about today and think about what makes sense for me for this weekend, given what I anticipate the conditions are going to be and how much of a mess I will be at each of the different transition points. And then we'll do another live stream. Yeah, do another live stream. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you guys again. And until then, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.